Guys, when I tell you, I don't even know where to begin with this video, man. So we're gonna talk about a whole mess of things. Funko had their mystery box drop today, online as well as in store, but wasn't much of a mystery for sure. They sent over a couple boxes to some influencers that were curated. That made a lot of people mad. And just a bunch of other thoughts and opinions I had on this whole thing today. So of course, let me know down below first, what do you guys think about this situation before you hear my thoughts? So I guess let's go ahead and get into it. So the other day, Funko announced, hey, we're doing a limited edition mystery box, and they advertised it as 4 pops being in the box. It's gonna be $80, and the whole thing around this was these were pops taken from abandoned checkout carts. They had people promoting this in videos on their own socials too, saying that it was abandoned checkout carts. Now, is that likely? Sure, for some of the higher end ones, maybe people decided they didn't want it, or their wife said, no, you can't buy this. We don't need to be spending money on it. Okay. But they were throwing in Cyclops, Art the Clown. These were 750 piece pops. I highly doubt somebody abandoned that. And it's well known that stock was held back from every single one of these drops. As I mentioned before, I understand companies have promotions to do, giveaways to do, or if something comes damaged, they want to cover it for a customer. However, that's flawed in itself because you can look on most threads where people have been saying they've been getting refunds rather than their orders replaced. So it's not always the case where they're holding back stock to cover a customer's lost order, especially when they drop the stock in store a month later. Okay, so we're just gonna go in order of the events on how they happen just so you guys aren't confused. So after they announced the mystery box, people are like, okay, what's this all about? Are we gonna just get a bunch of 9,500 piece ones or what? Then Funko put out 2 promotional videos from Sidekick Inc. as well as Top Pops. Let me be clear, I've met both of them. They are great people in person. I have no ill will towards them. I'm just using their promotional videos as an example in my video because it is related to the topic. So back to my earlier point, Funko sent them mystery boxes that were curated for promotional videos, basically to show you what you could pull from these mystery boxes that they were selling online. And of course, Funko stuffed them with some of the best pieces like Art the Clown. And in both videos, they both pull an Art the Clown, and that made a lot of people upset. Now, as someone who does YouTube, content creation, and all that, as well as I've worked in marketing for a lot of years, I understand why Funko stuffed those boxes with the best stuff to advertise the box and make people want to buy it, even if it's like a very low chance at buying Art the Clown. However, like I just said, when people aren't getting their orders replaced, if they're lost in the mail and they're getting a refund, when this pop's going for $1,200, that refund cannot cover that loss of that pop. Now they have to go out and pay a crazy amount, and then they just watch a video of an influencer getting one in their box. Again, I have nothing against them. I understand they were just doing a promotional video. They have bills to pay too. It is what it is. I don't think Art the Clown was the right pop to put in there. I think if you put any of the other sought after Ellie pops in there, it would have been fine, but something as low as Art the Clown at 750 pieces that barely anybody got to begin with, I think that was a bad move all around. So for anybody wondering, those are my thoughts on this. I understand a lot of people are upset, but it's not really new that companies send out curated boxes for people to show off as to what you could maybe get from that company. It's nothing new. And maybe I view it a little differently because I'm in the same space. But at the very least, I think we can mostly agree that Art the Clown was just a bad move there to put in there. I think they should have put something else in there. And I don't think these promotional videos would have gotten as much hate. Personally, I'm glad they didn't reach out to me for a box because I saw those comments. Oh my gosh. But honestly, I think Funko doesn't like working with me because I'm a little more outspoken in my videos about topics like this. It is what it is. All right, so fast forward a little bit. That whole chaotic mess dropped with the influencers getting the boxes. People were very upset over that. Now here we are in present time today. The mystery box dropped. I think only about 1,900 or close to 2,000 boxes dropped according to what Dish Trackers tweeted out. And they went quick. Like literally they went in maybe 30 seconds. I know this because I was on the website. I was posting it for you guys, but I was on the website and I was trying to get one to do a fun video just to see what you could pull. But spoiler alert, I was not able to get one, so you will not see that video. Which is fine because you guys know how I feel about mystery boxes. I think they're a big gamble to begin with, but I like to do them for fun videos. Like I'll do mystery box battles with my wife, but I don't really go out of my way to spend a bunch of money on them. I'd rather just buy the item that I want, to be honest. But again, occasionally occasionally I will buy them just because you guys like seeing mystery box opening videos and they are kind of fun. It's a lot of money to spend on a chance, you know? Okay, so as you know, it sold out very quickly. A lot of people are very upset about that. Now we get to 1 or 2 hours later, Funko Hollywood opens. Funko HQ is open. And here's what's on the tables at Funko Hollywood and Funko HQ. Here's like big collages shared over from Diss Trackers and a few other accounts there. So you can see Art the Clown's in there. You can see Cyclops in there. Other lower end exclusives, some higher end ones. There's Shadow Hearts in there from ECCC. This made a lot of people mad. This made a lot of people mad. And myself included. I was surprised at how much it bothered me seeing this, even though I had no interest in any of these exclusives for my collection. I do want to make that apparent, mind you. I don't really collect a majority of any of this. I have Spider-Cat because my friend was lucky enough to get one, and I was sleeping when it sold out, and she gave me one. But other than that, none of these I really needed for my collection, to be honest. So by no means is this video coming from spite or I missed out on a drop and I'm like, man, screw you, Funko. I can't believe I wasn't able to get one. I don't need any of these, and if I did want one, I would just go buy it. You know, I'm not really big on complaining because I missed out on something. The sole reason I'm making this video is because of what's fair and how Funko is treating their consumers and collectors. So here are the issues that I have with this. Originally, how it was you spend your points on these LE exclusives, and if you're lucky to get in, you spent your hard-earned points, what you spent a lot of money to, you know, accrue and obtain. However, over at Funko Hollywood, they were dropping stock in store. You didn't have to use points. I had a big issue with that. A lot of people in the community had a huge issue with that. That changed recently where they were requiring QR codes for these drops now, which was great. And I even applauded Funko for that. I said, hey, you're doing a great job. That was a nice change. Not something I would have thought of, but cool. It at least randomizes the line, same as the lottery online. Everybody gets a fair shot at being picked. At least a little bit more fair than before, I suppose, you know, because a lot of people could just make bots online, or people can just bring their families and everybody can scan that QR code. And you get more chances to get ahead of one person entering, for example. Overall, it's a little better than bots just eating up the stock on a normal release. But fast forward today, they took a step back on their progress when they decided to drop all of these limited edition exclusives just in store on the table. You can scan the QR code. If you're lucky to be picked, you can walk in and buy what you need. That's my problem with that. Why do people online have to buy a mystery box, but you can walk in store and just pick and choose? And there's people arguing against this, and I do not see the logic behind it. And this is just an ongoing issue of how much they cater to their Funko Hollywood and HQ locations, which is okay to an extent. I get it. You got to fill stock in your store. That makes sense. However, when you have overseas people mad, you have the rest of the United States mad, Canada mad, when does it get to a point where you're actively trying to make it fair for everybody? I can't imagine how mad overseas people are at this drop, because they barely had any stock to begin with a lot of these LE exclusives. So now they're seeing that we've gotten even more chances at getting these for our collections, and they're just ignored over there. I can't even imagine how they feel. So yeah, guys, that's my biggest problem with this situation, is that this store stock was not placed in mystery boxes, but you made people online buy mystery boxes. What is the purpose of that? You're just gonna make people mad. You make people mad because you're not treating all the customers the same exact way. So what was the purpose of getting all this bad press? People lining up outside the store, creating hype. Like, I get it from that standpoint. Again, a marketing standpoint, it's great for Funko. Like, hey, they're talking about you either way, but like, you're also losing customers in the process. It's like, cool, all of this stock is probably gonna sell out today, but how many customers are you gonna lose because you just have pushed them past their limit of being annoyed and feeling like they're being treated unfairly? I don't really know what else there is left to say on this topic, to be honest. I think anything more would just be me kind of ranting, but hopefully my point got across with this situation. Sometimes I feel like Funko will make a fix and then they'll follow it up with many missteps, like many missteps. And I just do not get how a company can make this many bad choices. So yeah, guys, I said my piece. Let me know in the comments below if you agree or disagree. And if you do disagree, that's perfectly fine. All I ask is you disagree respectfully. I'm not looking to argue with anybody. I'm just trying to have Funko find a common balance for everybody and to make it as fair as possible with products that you're limiting that you know people want. That's all most people are asking for. I think if most people missed out on a product fairly, they would not be bringing out the pitchforks. Anyways, thank you so much for watching today's video. I was actually doing a different like trending up video, and then all this craziness came out. So I was like, let me cover this. Let me get out my thoughts. I want to hear all of your thoughts too. But yeah, I got nothing left to say. So I love you guys. See you guys in the next one. See you guys later. Bye.